गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुसाक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। वर्णानामर्थसङ्घानां रसानां छन्दसामपि मङ्गलानां च कर्तारौ वन्दे वाणी विनायकौ भवानी शङ्करौ वन्दे श्रद्धा विश्वासरूपिणौ याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धा स्वान्तस्तमीश्वरम् वन्दे बोधमयं नित्यं गुरुं शङ्कररूपिणं यमाश्रितो हि वक्रोऽपि चन्द्रः सर्वत्र वन्द्यते सीतारामगुणग्राम पुण्यारण्यविहारिणौ वन्दे विशुद्धविज्ञानौ कवीश्वरकपीश्वरौ उद्भवस्थितिसंहार कारिणीं क्लेशहारिणीं सर्वश्रेयस्करीं सीतां नतोऽहं रामवल्लभां यन्मायावशवर्ति विश्वमखिलं ब्रह्मादिदेवासुरा यत्सत्त्वादमृषैव भाति सकलं रज्जौ यथा हेर्भ्रमः यत्पादप्लवमेकमेव हि भवां बोधे स्थितिर्षावतां तन्देहं तमशेषकारणपरं रामाख्यमीशं हरिं वन्देऽहं तमशेषकारणपरं रामाख्यमीशं हरिम्। ओके, वो भी बोलना है। नानापुराणनिगमागमसम्मतं यद् रामायणे निगदितं क्वचिदन्यतोऽपि स्वान्तसुखाय तुलसीरघुनाथगाथा भाषानिबन्धमतिमञ्जुलमातनोति भाषानिबन्धमतिमञ्जुलमातनोति। हरि ओम एवरीवन। हाँ, लास्ट वाला। रामाय रामचंद्राय वेदसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीताया पतये नमः। सीताया पतये नमः। सीताया पतये नमः। सीताया पतये नमः। We are in Adhyatma Ramayana, chapter 1, Balakand, and we are on verse number 10. 14? 10, yeah. 14 तक पढ़ा होगा, पढ़े थे लेकिन किया नहीं। हाँ, तो we'll start from 10. That thought begins from there only. So the thought is, पृच्छामि चान्यच्च परं रहस्यं तदेव चाग्रे वद वारिजाक्ष श्रीरामचन्द्रे अखिलोकसारे भक्तिर्दृढा नौर्भवति प्रसिद्धा. Here he says, O lotus-eyed one, O Lord Shiva, I ask you, in fact all the gods are lotus-eyed only. No god you will find who is not lotus-eyed. So, O lotus-eyed Lord Shiva, here I ask you one most secret of mysteries. For Parvati ji it is a mystery. We think she is all-knowing. So it is a leela going on. She chooses not to know. Why? Time pass karna hai. Huh? The secret of mysteries. Please describe first. It is well established that pristine, pure, true, uncorrupted devotion, dedication and submission for Sri Ram, who is the essence of all the worlds, worlds is like a strong and sturdy boat for crossing this ocean, like mundane world. And we explained this verse in detail last week. And so राम नाम को सब कुछ तारण कर देता है basically, और that is the secret. She is asking for the secret of Ram. Don't forget, when we make it subjective, because it's Adhyatma Ramayana, that Ram is none other than the self within, and the the Ishvara outside, and the Paramatma who is Nirgun Nirakar. So who is Paramatma? Yogis call the same reality Paramatma. Devotees call him Ishvara. Vedantis call him Brahman. And seekers call him, personally, he is the Atma. Atma is also Nirgun Nirakar. Brahman is also Nirgun Nirakar. Ishvara, we have given him. कौन आ रहा है यार? हाँ ठीक है सब. So in this way, that the name of the Lord is the unshakable boat, sturdy, unshakable. So when he says that in this verse, bhaktir dridha. So what is dridha bhakti? What is dridha bhakti? Is it ayaram gayaram? That Saturday to Saturday we are devoted to Lord Ram, or for breakfast, lunch, dinner, before eating food, Brahma Arpanam Brahmi, that time we remember the Brahman, other times we don't remember. This is not Dridha Bhakti. Dridha Bhakti is where you do not forget the Lord, either by Manasa or Vacha or at the body Kaya level. You are serving the world who is none other than Ram, but this is your attitude towards it. You may not know it, you may not have realized it, but your attitude is that this whole world is Ramamay, is the made out of the material called Ram, and I must serve it. See, in this way, this should be our attitude, and this is when it will become Dridha. This is ultimate story, but Dridha means where your mind is not distracted by any other thought. Where, see, if I keep saying, some lectures are there, I don't know if I have given one like that, but some speakers you listen to, पहले 5 मिनट में नींद आ जाती है. क्या करेंगे? है ना? तो because it's so monotonous. Now after this lecture is over, you have sat here for 2 hours, body is tired, food is in the tummy. When you go back, what is it that is pulling you? Sometimes we stay here till 11 o'clock. Sometimes we have stayed till 12 o'clock also. Sometimes we have stayed even longer than 12, having tea and pan, and we have to do all the जो कृष्ण खाते हैं सब हमको खाना है. But other times, if you see children here, sometimes they are tired. Then what happens to them? The mind is pulled by the sleep. And if you must have seen, Mummy, yeah, chalo, let's go home. Mummy, let's go home. Mummy, let's go home. Till you get one. Then you say, okay, you sleep here only. But let's go home, let's go home. Why? I am feeling sleepy, I am feeling sleepy, I am feeling sleepy, or I am hungry, I am hungry. When is the lecture finishing? I am hungry, I am hungry. What is it? This is called Dridha. They have been hooked onto hunger from inside. They didn't think about it. Hunger caught them. They didn't think about sleep. The sleep caught their mind. It hooked the mind. Is our mind hooked by Ram? Then we are not talking about realization here. We are just talking about getting hooked. The child has not eaten food but is hooked by hunger. The child has not gone to sleep but is hooked to sleep. Are we hooked to Ram? So our attempt in life taking a bit step further, not from Parvati's point of view, she is doing it for Leela, but we need it. So, our life must unfold in such a manner on a daily basis, or whatever your plan of life is, that our mind gets hooked to the divine, hooked by the divine, not to the divine, by the divine. Initially, you have to put efforts, but eventually it gets hooked by His grace. It is only happening by His grace, but you have to put efforts initially. So, this is what she is saying. Bhakti, Sri Ramachandra, Akhila Loka Sare. Akhila, the entire, Loka, all the planes of existence, meaning the entire universe. Sare, all. And what is Sri Ramachandra, Akhila Loka Sare, in Ramachandre. Chandre means in Ramchandra, means the Virat Purush, the Vaishwanara, the total person. Ramchandraji is the total person. He is the Nirgun Nirakar also, and he is the Sagun Sakar also. And in that Sagun Sakar, all the lokas, all the planes of existences exist. So what are these seven planes? Bhurvua Swatapa Janamaha Satyam. How do we say? Mooladhar, Swadhishthan, Manipur, Anahat, Vishuddhi, Agya, and Sahasrar. 7 lokas. Where are they? Are they outside of you? Where this Kundalini? Is it outside of you? Have you ever seen it? No. Have you ever felt it? Maybe, if you have got good imagination. Same way, these 7 lokas are in the Lord Ram, in the Virat Purush. Here Ram is not taken as just, yes, he is existing as an individual husband of Sita, but what is his essential? What is his essence? He is the total person. You are existing as someone's husband, someone's wife, someone's brother, someone's sister. But what is your true nature? As body. You are existing as panchakoshas, gross, food sheath, vital air sheath, mental sheath, intellectual sheath, causal sheath. But what is your essence? The jiva, the consciousness, conscious principle. When you come to consciousness, are you the Gaunatma, or you are the Mithyatma, or are you the Mukhyatma? See? Which one are we? I think I explained this last week. Huh? So which one are we? So when we think, when we take Ram, so just as I have told this, every time this comes I say that in the micro, the macro is the source. So in the microwave, not microwave, microwave on the ocean. In the small wave, the ocean is present. Same way, in the micro body, in the micro being, the individual, the total is existing. That you have to recognize. So, we don't want to, because, this is too hard, that. So we say, okay, take the Lord, take the Lord's name, remember the Lord. Who is He? He is the total person. He is the total person. In Him, all the worlds are. See, we don't want to believe, we don't want to accept that all the worlds are in us. So at least, because we are all God-fearing people, or why should I say fearing? God-loving people. So if we are God-loving people, then we are ready to accept that all the worlds are in God. But we are not ready to accept all the worlds are in us. Both are correct. Because if God is your source, then all the worlds are within Him. So He is in you. So in this way, Akhilok Sare, how will you realize it? Only by Drudha Bhakti, Bhakti Drudha. It's a very important verse here. Prichhami Chanyatcha Param Rahasyam. Please tell me. And if we are coming to satsang without this drida bhakti towards Ram, we will never come to know this rahasya. Rahasya is secret. Rahasyam tadev chagre vad varijaksha Shri Ramachandre Akhila Loka Sare Bhaktir Dridha Naur Bhavati Prasiddha. So, Sri Ramchandra ji, who is the essence of all worlds, or all the worlds are in him, and that Ramchandra ji is like a unshaking boat, a steady boat to cross this samsara, cross this continuous changing samsara, to cross this whatever is changing is miserable, whatever is constant is joyful or is blissful. But what are we doing? We are forgetting the constant one within, and we are running after the changing outside. And this is what we do, and then we say, why my life is like this, why am I am going through all these troubles in life. Let me see if that person is there, I can give the example. Huh? Not there. Okay. So कौन बोल रहा है बीच में? हाँ हाँ तो there is this Amma, they have a middle age कह रहा हूँ, sorry, middle youth, what is that, 25-26-year-old girl, and they are trying to find a person for her, and she is not, this one, no, I don't like him, this one, I don't like him, this one, I don't like him. Then Swamiji, please have a chat with her. मैंने कहा खाने पे भिक्षा पे बुलाओ, फिर भिक्षा खाया, फिर उसके बाद घूमने के लिए गए, कॉफ़ी पिया, अच्छी से अच्छी सत्संग हो गई, लड़के को कोई बात नहीं आया. तो अब देखो कल क्या होता है. कल फिर से सेकंड मीटिंग. why is this? Because mother has an expectation that my child must get married at the correct age. See, this is the, today also I went with someone for a drive, and she is now 36 years old, 35, 36 years old. And she says, I said, how is your brother, and how is your daughter, sister-in-law, and how is Sydney? You know, you go to your brother. Yeah, it's a full action there, 2 kids, ha ha hoo hoo. Then she says, oh, my parents are staying with my brother, and when I go there, mother is screaming, and now my brother is also taking on to the habit of my mother, and he's also screaming. I can't live there. I said, then you go only for 3-4 days. That's what you do normally, 1 week maximum, then you come back. She says, yeah, they dare not speak to me that way. I said, yeah, you have to set your parameters, how each one can behave with you. Marriage is not everything in life. She says, yeah, they dump their expectations on the children, and then they make the children miserable, and they themselves become miserable. She says, I am not one of those. I said, yeah, you are right. You are like me. My parents also tried to dump on me, but I became a sannyasi because I went that way. She says, yeah, I am also like that only, Swamiji, but I am not a sannyasi, that's all. So I said, yeah, you are a Harry Potter type. You know what is Harry Potter type? Witch. She's a L plate. The vehicle started going everywhere. I said, hey, careful. But this is what, when we look at the world, there will be a desire for it. Why don't you have love for the, instead of the world, have love for the Lord in your heart? Simple. Go to sleep taking the Lord's name. You will wake up taking the Lord's name. Automatically, your whole day will be happy. Try this for some time, 1 or 2 months. But you must go to sleep not thinking of problems. You must think of happy thoughts of Ramchandra ji. Take his name joyfully, loudly, mentally, whichever way you want, but joyfully. Please, please keep your audio off when you come on. How many times I have to tell you? So, where was I got distracted. Ah, take the name. Yes. So take the name at night and allow it to. And if it doesn't make you go to sleep, doesn't matter. You will be still you will be refreshed next morning. If you want how it feels, I can introduce you to people in Melbourne who will tell you. And they don't complain that they have not slept. One of them is me. Sometimes I sleep, sometimes I don't. It doesn't matter. My whole day is still equally inspiring without tiredness. And if tiredness comes, quick power nap or what else? See? So, so most important point, Sri Ramachandre Akhila Lokasare Bhaktur Dirha Naur Bhavati. Naur is Nav. Nav is a boat. That's how the word navigation comes from now. Nav. So, from this verse, this is the most important. That Sri Ramchandra ji is the essence of the whole world. The whole world is in the Ramchandra ji. Just like all the waves are in the ocean, all the ornaments are in the gold. Similarly, the whole world is in Ramchandra ji. We must cultivate Drudha Bhakti, steady, single pointed, uncorrupted devotion towards that Sri Ram. So just thinking of form of Sri Ram, no, see that form, but feel, have this imagination, bhava, that this form of Ramchandra is inclusive of all the universe, all the lokas. How do you see it? Don't worry about it. Have this feeling. He will reveal it. How? He will reveal it. And the second is that his name is the boat to cross the samsara. Continuing now in the 11th and 12th verse. Bhakti prasiddha bhava mokshanaya nanyat tata sadhanamasti kinchit तथापि हृत्संशय बंधनं मे विभेतुमर्हस्य मलोक्तिभिस्त्वं वदन्ति रामं वरमेकमाद्यं निरस्तमाया गुणसम्प्रवाहं भजन्ति चाहर्षिमप्रमत्ताः परं पदं यान्ति तथैव सिद्धाः भक्ति प्रसिद्धा भव मोक्षणाय नान्यत ततः साधनमस्ति किंचित तथापि हृत संशय बंधनम में विभेतुम अर्हस्यम अलोक अर्हस्यम अलोक्तिभिस्त्वम्. To free oneself from the shackles of this mundane artificial world, devotion, submission and worship are the only famed way, that is medium and instruments. Nothing else. In Kali Yuga, bhakti, path of bhakti is the most easiest, simplest, saral, straightforward, direct. It is the means as well as the goal. Goal is devotion to Ram. What is devotion to Ram? Bhaktir Drudha. Instead of us catching on, when we try to catch Ram, eventually it will lead to, he will catch you. After that, story over. Nothing needs to be done after that. See? Just like you are trying to catch a girlfriend and then she catches you and now you can't get away. Problem. Big problem. Huh? You are diabetic and यहाँ से वहाँ से वहाँ से यहाँ से छुपते छुपते फ्रिज में से गुलाब जामुन निकाल के खा लिए. You try to catch gulab jamun. Then gulab jamun catches you permanently. Diabetes. Understand. I give examples, but I always tell you the principle. So remember the principle. This is how mind functions. Bhakti is not for Bhagwan. Bhakti is not for Atma. Bhakti is for the mind. And this is how the mind functions. So if it has bhakti towards Gulab Jamun, eventually Gulab Jamun will catch him. If bhakti is towards the girl, devotion, चांद ले आऊंगा, तारे तोड़ दूंगा, ये कर दूंगा, वो कर दूंगा, उसके बाद वो लूटेगी, वो चूस लेगी पूरा तुम्हें. ठंडन गोपाल उसके बाद. भगवान भी यही करते हैं. भगवान also does this. He will take your mind, intellect, everything away. Then what? Objects of the world don't do what Ram does. What he will do? He will take everything away and he will make you in his own image. He'll present you again in the image of himself. An object doesn't do that. Oh, actually, you can say it can do. Gulab Jamun is presenting you back as a sweet person, diabetic person. Presenting you back to you over a period of time, isn't it? See? Understand, this is how it is functioning, the mind. So here when he says, Bhakti Prasiddha Bhava Mokshanaya, it is famous, it is popular that Bhakti alone can bring about the moksha. It is the goal as well as it is the path. It is the way. And that is the beauty of it. Where no too much thinking required. To contemplate on Adhyatma, to contemplate on the Nirgun Nirakar. Adhyatma is Nirgun Nirakar. To contemplate and be one with the Nirgun Nirakar Tattva, the pathway is bhakti. Without bhakti, you cannot reach the conclusion. You say, but we follow Gyan. If you don't follow knowledge with devotion, knowledge will not fructify. You want to do karma. If you don't do karma with devotion, it will not fructify. You do Kundalini, Kriya Yoga, Puja, Bhakti, Havan. If you don't do it with bhakti, if you don't worship, go to the temples, do Tirth Yatra with devotion, with bhakti, you will not get the result. Simple as that. So everywhere, whichever path you may pursue, bhakti is the mainstay. See? So take it. और बताया है वैखरी मध्यमा पश्यन्ति परा. Loud chanting. Chant loudly. You are alone at home. All of you are retired who are listening to me. All young ones are here. Only old and Zoom. Huh? So chant loudly. श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम. चिल्लाओ. दुनिया को कोई सुनने वाला नहीं है. तुम ही सुनने वाले हो. चिल्लाओ. Eventually he will catch you from inside and then you cannot escape once he catches you. I don't chant this mantra very often, but for last 3-4 days I have been chanting on the thing. Digambara, Digambara, Shripad Vallabha Digambara, Datta Gurun se Naam Smara. What? Datta Gurun se Naam Smara. देखो भूल गया अभी मैं, क्योंकि अभी आज नहीं किया मैंने. आज श्री राम जय राम कर रहा था. दिगंबरा दिगंबरा श्रीपाद वल्लभ दिगंबरा दत्त गुरुन से नाम स्मरा श्रीपाद वल्लभ दिगंबरा. Something like that it goes. But what happened after 2 days or 2-3 days, 4 days, that all the time in the mind it is continuously going on. Yesterday when I was coming to your house and going away from a full volume पे चल के वो दिगंबरा दिगंबरा चल रहा है. रात को दिगंबरा दिगंबरा दिमाग में चल रहा है, खाते समय दिगंबरा, मैं आई एम नॉट चैंटिंग बट इन द माइंड दैट इज गोइंग ऑन. व्हेन आई वेंट टू स्लीप, that quickly the Lord can catch you from inside. But we have to become available. We have to become available. Don't try to do it in your mind, do it loudly. So here he says, to free oneself from the shackles of this one mundane world, artificial world. Artificial world? क्यों भैया artificial? What is artificial about this world? Because this world is essentially Ram, but you are seeing it as name and form. You are seeing it as space, air, fire, water, earth. You are seeing it as man and woman. You are seeing it as mountains, rivers, sky, earth, etc., etc. But what is its essence? It is Ram. Just like ornaments are artificial, gold is real. अभी मतलब समझ आता है. Ornaments are not real. Ornaments are artificial. But gold is real. Similarly, this entire world of names and forms is artificial. Ram is real. Therefore, artificial world. From this shackles of this mundane artificial world, devotion, submission and worship are the only famed way, that is medium or instrument. There is no better way to do it than this. Tathapi hruta sanshaya bandhanam me, have no doubt about it. Please pierce, in spite of, where are we? In spite of that, please pierce the sack, that is remove doubts, confusions in my heart with your pure spike like words. It is the, last week I think I explained this word spike in different manner. I don't know which manner it will come out now, but I feel just like we burst a balloon with a pin. So what is the balloon in us? Our ego. What is the ego? What is the ego filled up with? It is filled up with attachments. It is filled up with desires. And when the Ram Nam comes and pierces it, suddenly the ego scatters away. It's not like that, the Terminator 2. You know the Terminator 2? Arnold Schwarzenegger is there. He has also come from the future. But another one, Terminator, is there. Every time he shoots him, he scatters, but again it collects together and becomes one. Whereas Arnold, he is made up of, all the steel, artificial arm and artificial, but the other one is much advanced. But when Ramchandra ji pierces, eventually he kills him completely. Who? Arnie. Eventually Voldemort is also killed by Harry Potter. See? He is also killed by Harry Potter. If we allow Ramchandra ji to enter us, if we allow Sri Ram to hook our mind by thinking about him with devotion, he will pierce our ego. He will pierce this limited existence that we call as ourselves and transform us in his own image. Whatever, either with form or without form. Both, he knows his both forms. He also knows his form and he also knows that he is without form. You will also be the same. Have no doubt about it. With your pure spike-like words. So here, if we want to, I am taking it from Ramchandra ji's point of view. Here, our Parvati ji is asking Lord Shiva to speak in such words that the doubt in our mind, the samshaya in our mind, the incomplete information or knowledge in our mind is completely cut asunder, so that once and for all this mystery is revealed to her. Mystery is not to be gained or is not available to us. Any mystery is not available to us through words. It is The words may be utilized in the beginning, but the mystery which it is representing has to reveal itself. And it is true for everything. You may keep saying Shilpa, 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 but till Shilpa doesn't come, it will not reveal. You may be taking, so you are taking the name Ram, 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 but Ram has to reveal. And many people are there in Melbourne also to whom Ram has revealed. See? And it is possible. So in this manner, but उसके लिए चाहिए, this दृढ़ bhakti is required, otherwise it's not possible. In the 12th verse he says, Vadanti Ramam Paramekamadhyam Nirastamaya Gunasampravaham Bhajanti Vahan No Bhajanti Chahan cha, चाह नहीं चाहन भी है हर भी है तो न भी तो है चाहर्न भजंती चाहर्न से निशम इधर फिर गलत लिखा है मैं यहाँ पे इसमें पढ़ते हैं वेयर आर वी हाँ यहाँ वहाँ पे गलत लिखा है इधर ठीक लिखा है वेयर आर वी हाँ भजन्ति चाहर्निशम प्रमत्ताः परम पदम यान्ति तथैव सिद्धाः. The siddhas, mystics, experts who are devoid of mistakes, that is, who do not commit errors and have no faults and are wise, call Sri Ram the most exalted supreme being, matchless, without a second or parallel, without a second or without a parallel, the primordial cause of all that exists, and as being beyond the attributes associated with nature, while at the same time they attain the supreme state of his holy feet by worshipping and adoring him day and night. Parvati ji is asking Lord Shiva. See where her mind is. First she says, please reveal the mystery. Before revealing the mystery, she says, I am your devotee, I am your I am surrendered at your feet. She says that you know everything, therefore you should tell me. And why you should tell me? Because I am eager, I am keen, I am ready for it, I am surrendered to you, therefore you should teach me. Why? Because you are Dayanidhan, you are very compassionate. Anyone who comes with the right attitude is qualified. If they ask, you give. So I am coming with that. Yes, you can say, oh, is Parvati ji not arrogant in saying that I am surrendering to you? No. She knows. Otherwise she cannot be Parvati. Every one of you know that you are a woman or you are a man. To say I am a woman, I am a man, is that arrogance? It's a statement of fact. It's a statement of fact. I am hungry. Is that arrogance? No, it's a statement of fact. It is an observation that the body is hungry or the mind is hungry. Body is never hungry. Mind is hungry. So this is the way she is saying. She is observing that in her mind there is no other theme of the world which is distracting her, and therefore she prays to the Lord. And now she is saying that all the siddhas, who are siddhas? Siddhas are the mystics. Who are these mystics? These mystics are who have gained special powers, you can say. Some people have got special powers. Other places it is said siddhas are realized masters, not the either of the Parabrahma Paramatma or of Ishvara or of Sri Ram or any other god, because we are talking about the principle called God. So they have realized God, but they don't want moksha. See, moksha is also of two types. One is relative moksha and one is Jivan Mukti. No more birth and death. You become free from Punarapi Janam, Punarapi Maranam. But Siddhas choose not to. They say, we love you and we love taking your name, we want to serve you. Bhagwan sends them back to the earth in the form of Siddhas to help the others who are actually in his image, but he is sent the Siddhas to show them the way. This is the way you can realize that you are not other than Ram. This is what the position of Siddhas is. All Siddhas. Whether it be Raman Maharishi, let it be Satya Sai Baba, let it be Shirdi Sai Baba, let it be Ammachi, let it be any Mahatma who has come to know himself. And there are different qualities, calibers, potentials, siddhis. Some show no siddhis, some show so many siddhis. But all of their job is one. They are unshakable. They only want one. And it is not that they want the world to come to the Lord. It is not their desire. But they can't do anything else apart from that. They can't do anything else apart from that. Just like you are only taking care of your child, Ammachi takes care of all children. Satya Sai Baba takes care of all people, but he doesn't have a desire to help this one or that one. Whoever comes, depending upon that person's disposition, his bhakti, his vishwas, his belief, his qualification, his surrender, the message goes out to him verbally, through action, through mentally, manasa, vacha, kaya, either like that, and that person receives it. And you will see, if you read their biographies, you will see some people you touch and they get healed and their problem goes away. Sometimes you scold someone and their problem goes away. And sometimes Mahatma has not said anything. Raman Maharishi used to sit silent, and yet the student used to get all the answers. How come? Manasa. See? Because Parabrahma, Paramatma, Nirgun, Nirakar cannot do anything. Because he is everything. He has to, when he expresses through Manasa, Vacha, Kaya. That is, these are his Parshads. These are his warriors who go out, whom he sends out. Who are these? The Siddhas, the mystics. And what do? These Siddhas, mystics, these experts who know the technique, who know the way, who know the methodology, the techniques, and they know it perfectly. Why? What is the reason they know it perfectly? Someone tell me. Why do these Siddhas know the way perfectly?
Because they are none other than God and they realized it.
That is one.
Purity of mind.
Purity of mind, that is two. Anything else?
They are they are directly connected with the
Very good.
Lord.
They are directly connected to the Lord. See? So eyes are looking at something, eyes are looking at a situation, experience is taking place. They have no, they don't judge the situation. I know when Swami Anubanji comes and he says, if someone wants to meet, he doesn't want to know about that person. He says, no, let him come. Because if someone tells me something about them, then my mind is already colored with respect to them. Let that person be an open book. My mind is empty, and when that person comes, it's like a mirror. Everything gets revealed. Same way here, the Siddhas have utter faith in their source because they have experienced it, they are abiding in it. So when they are expressing through this body, through this mind, through these senses, and the world is coming to them, because they are also born in this world, and the world is, can you stop the world from coming to you? No. Then how do you deal with the world? They don't make a decision. They allow the response to express out of them, without taking the ownership of the response. Sometimes you will see that Mahatmas say something and you feel that is really stupid. Why did he say that? Why did you do that? Why did he do that? There was no reason for him to behave in that way. But later on you come to realize, oh, that is why he was doing like this. Mahatmas, you read their biographies. Right now I'm watching the Akkalkot Maharaj is sitting in his house, in his devotee's house, and these three kids are sitting next to him, and the one yogi is there, and he's got a power. He smokes the chilam, and after the grass has become ash, when he twists it, gold nuggets come out. And he's got the whole Akkalkot village, I will give you gold, I will give you gold. And he wants to become the most important person in the Akkalkot. But Akkalkot Maharaj means our Dattatreya Maharaj, he is already there. So he feels he is a competition, so he has to show him down. So he is one of the devotees, he goes and he says, because his daughter has been kidnapped by some robbers who have been sent by this yogi and the priest of the village, of the Akkalkot village. And they are going to kill her, give a bali, because she was telling the villagers how bad this yogi is. So to teach her a lesson, they wanted to kill her, so that now the entire village will be at the mercy of this yogi. He had siddhis. He could levitate, in incomparable strength, and making of the gold. So all these things were there. But that girl, when they were about to kill her, that axe which is taken, that axe came down, it became flour, axe vanished. And the killers, they got scared. Hey, leave her alone, leave her alone. They left her and went away. And she came back. And while she was coming back, she fell down. When she fell down, unconscious, because no water, nothing, and fear and everything. And in the meantime, Akkalkot Maharaj is sitting in the house, and he tells this small boy of that house, hey, get me some kaudi. The kaudi ko kya bolte hain? The seashells. So bring the seashells from inside. And she goes, searches everywhere. Eventually he brings, now bring me one thread. He brought the thread. And then Akkalkot Maharaj is sitting on his bench, and he is making a mala out of the seashells. And then he just holds it. Hey Gauri, now you do your job. And when there Parvati Mata comes, and she wakes up this girl, gives her water, and when she looks at this Gauri Mata, she doesn't know. She says, I have never seen you. I am from the next village. She says, but I have never seen you. But this mala is very nice. This is made out of seashells, very unique. I have never seen a seashell mala like this. She didn't see any other ornament, only that one. And then she comes back, safe and sound. She leaves her right on the edge of the village. She comes back, comes to Akkalkot Maharaj, and everyone is happy, everything is fine, and she is standing there, and suddenly her attention goes to the same mala which that Gauri Mata was wearing, lying next to Swami Samartha. And she says, suddenly it clicks to her that it was Swami who saved her, it was nobody else. She falls at his feet. Then her father, this girl's father, he goes to the yogi, you did all this, he takes the whole village. And that yogi is trying to scare these fellows. He picks up a huge boulder like this one, and he throws at him. If it had fallen him, he would have died. But at home, Akkalkot Maharaj suddenly goes like this, and all these kids and the people in the house, they are saying, what is happening to Maharaj? Why is he standing up like this, putting his hands up like this? Because he is always doing something or the other. But he suddenly hands up. And they are saying, they ask, why are you doing your hands up? He doesn't answer. He answers when he wants to. He doesn't answer when he wants to, because such Mahatmas, Siddhas, they are unique. They are not like you and me. If I ask you, if you ask her, hey, what did you do today, and someone just turns their face away and goes away, you will feel offended that that person did not respond to me. And that is normal behavior. But Mahatmas, Siddhas, they don't care. You You accept them or you don't accept them. Why? Because they know the whole universe is nothing but Ram. Each one is behaving according to their program. Nothing in them for to accept or not accept. So he is there, and then just 2-3 minutes later, the father with all the villagers comes. He says, "Thank you for saving." Then she says, "Yeah, Swamiji was just standing like this." And then they connect the two events, and suddenly they realize it was Akkalkot Swami who, sitting in his house, in the devotee's house, he put his hand up, stopped the big boulder, and it stopped about 1 feet away from the face of the father, and turned in the air without anyone touching, and went and hit the yogi. And when he got angry, he said, "I will get all these devotees towards my side." He went and started doing chilam and get the gold out. But instead only coal was coming out. More frustrated. Now tomorrow what will happen, I'll tell you next class. The reason I gave you all this story was siddhas, mystics. They don't come under the societal norms. Why? Their connection is directly to the divine. And because their connection is directly to the divine reveals to them what treatment to give whom, in what manner, at what time, in what dose, so that that person purifies, so that he comes towards the Lord. You understand? So it's not one for all. It's not one technique for all. When I am telling you the principles. But in what measure each one has to practice, that you have to determine. Na? We can't collectively say that we are going to do it like this. And it may not work for other people. If you ask me, all of us are going to sit in Padmasana and do, I can't sit in Padmasana. Story over. That means I cannot get to the Lord or what? Problem ho jayega na. So these are the siddhas, and many are there. One in Kerala, a few years ago I went, 2017, along with Nagi I went. And after that we are going to meet Swamiji and go to Amachi's ashram, because Swamiji was taking lectures for the entire, whoever there was there in the ashram. So before that I was in a Ayurveda Shala for 2 weeks. I came out nicely prepped up. Nagi met me, and then we traveled to all the temples, Chottanikara and this and that. Guruvayur, Swamiji met us there. Then he went away. Then we went to some other temples. You see? And that time I came to know from someone in Hobart that there is one Mahatma in Trichur, Siddha Mahatma in Trichur. So me and Nagi went there. We searched. Car tha apne paas, to pahunch gaye udhar. And he was a young boy working at a tea stall. And this couple, they wanted a person to work at home, we also had one young boy who was also working at tea stall. So one day my mom just went, used to get tea outside the office. So one day she asked, "Hey, we are looking for someone." They say, this fellow is available. So he lived with us for how many? Till we came to Australia, he was with us. Like a child in the house. He was elder to us, but mom and dad got him when he was 16-year-old. So similarly, this boy was only 12-13 years old. He did all the work at home. He got good food, treated very nicely at home. They were Sai Baba devotees. Every Thursday the satsang used to happen at home. And slowly, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram. And he started becoming Virakta. He became a Siddha Mahatma. Today such a huge temple is there, and hundreds of devotees from hundreds of villages every day come and visit him to solve their problems. And me and Nagi, we went there. I had never seen a Siddha. He has also not seen. मैंने कहा जाके एक्सपेरिमेंट करके आते हैं, देखते हैं क्या है, आशीर्वाद ही लेना है और क्या करना है. जाके हम बैठ गए. We sat against a wall for 3 hours. We were sitting, just watching. कैसे भूत निकलते हैं, लोगों में से भूत निकल रहे थे. एक he will sit there and he will take this, the moment he takes his trishul and does like this on the handle of his Sinhasan, someone in the whole crowd, 400-500 people, suddenly will start. And me and Nagi are there watching. Then suddenly someone does that in front of us. Then अरे थोड़ा दूर हो जा, कहीं घुस गया तो ना, मैं कहा कुछ नहीं होगा, चिंता मत कर. But one case, second case, third case, so many cases. Then eventually चलो अभी हो गया टाइम, देखना था देख लिया. So you can, हाँ तुम्हें क्या चाहिए? नहीं, nothing, only आशीर्वाद. You see, all of you come only for something. These two fellows have come, they don't want anything. They don't want anything, they only want blessings. You always want something. Why don't you come without not wanting anything? सबको डांटा. But he was smiling. And फिर प्रसाद दिया, फिर हम निकल गए. बट उनके सामने हमने देखा कितने केसेस को उन्होंने ठीक किया. बच्चे, स्वामी जी मेरा वो जॉब चला गया, उसने देखा जॉब कैसे चला गया, आंखें बन गया, बता दिया कब नौकरी लगेगी. इसको इस जॉब के लिए अप्लाई कर, ये जॉब तेरे पास आने वाली है. तो सिद्धास, see, they have that. Now you may, when you look at it, you think it is all a humbug, but each one of them knows, no? Each one of them knows what that Mahatma is telling them. For us as an observer, it may be all फालतू है, but each one of them is benefited by the words of that Mahatma, of that Siddha, and that's why they are coming back again and again. And one day, instead of wanting something in life, maybe their mind will turn, because initially तो needs पूरी होनी चाहिए ना. एक बार needs पूरी हो गई, उसके बाद then mind turn towards the Lord. So same way here, the Siddhas, mystics, experts who are devoid of mistakes, they don't, because they don't perform at the Manasa Vacha Kaya level through ego. They allow the Lord to express through mind, through the mind alone expresses as the speech, and the mind alone makes the body express in as action. And therefore they have the direct connection, therefore they do not make any mistakes. That is, who do not commit errors and have no faults, because they do not have any doubt as to what the essence of the world is, what the essence of this body is. They have got no doubt. We have doubt. Am I a good person or a bad person? We want appraisal. Am I a good employee or a bad employee? Who cares what the manager gives appraisal for? You should know, you should be confident, your self-esteem should be there. And how do you increase your self-confidence, self-esteem, Atma Bal, etc.? All these positive. Pray to the Lord. There will be no doubt. But we want continuously to be assessed by someone. Like one person comes, he says, Swamiji, I did not get any praise. I did so much hard work. Nobody praised me. Nobody thanked me. Nobody said a good word to me. I said, why do you care? If someone, your boss, your manager, your CEO, even if it is a small company, how does it matter if someone comes or doesn't come? You should be happy with your performance. If you have performed with inspiration, with commitment, with everything that you have, then you cannot depend on someone else to appraise you, because then that confidence, okay, it's not there, then some other place is available to you, and you will be up, automatically it will call you there. You will leave this job and you will go there. But that confidence has to be there inside, and that confidence, that dridhata comes, and that dridhata is where there is no possibility of doubt. Doubt itself is the error. when our mind starts thinking of something other than Ram, careful, other than Ram, then error comes. So here he says, and have no faults, and are wise, call Sri Ram the most exalted, supreme being, matchless, without a second or parallel. See? So Parvati ji is telling, she already knows all the answers. But she just telling that this is what I have heard. Let's see where she takes it. That he is the primordial cause of all that exists. What is primordial cause? Primordial cause is that he is the cause of all effects. What are the effects? Micro and macro is the effect. Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti is the effect. Isn't it? Manasa, Vacha, Kaya is the effect. The 5 elements are the effect. Who is the cause of all these effects? Effect can never come to know the cause. Why you are sitting on the floor? Achha, you have something. Effect can never come to know the cause. See? Primordial means unexpressed cause. See? When we, in Shankar Bhashya, it's called primordial matter. Primordial matter is, in Sanskrit the word is avyakta, the unmanifest. But here we are not talking about matter. We are talking about the primordial, primordial cause. What is that because of which even the avyakta, even the Lakshmi is expressing? What is that? That is Narayana. That is Ram. Whether Sita is there or not there, Narayana continues. When is Narayana Narayana? When Narayana is called Narayana, with reference to Lakshmi, he is called Narayana. Right? But is Narayana only possible with reference to Lakshmi, or is he independent of Lakshmi also? That is the question now. Ishvara knows that he is Nirgun Nirakar. He is formless and attributeless. He is Brahman. But whenever Lakshmi appears or the Avyakta appears, with reference to that, he is called as Narayana. But Narayana knows, and he is not a slave of Lakshmi. That's why he is Narayana, that's why he is Ishvara. But which Lakshmi? Unexpressed, Avyakta. When it becomes Vyakta, Vyakta means when she manifests, then that Narayana is called what? He is called Brahma, Vishnu or Mahesh, with reference to the expression of that unmanifest Shakti, Lakshmi. What does she manifest as? Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Then Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. See? So this picture, it sounds, sometimes it can get complicated, but as our mind quietens down by doing japa, all these things, if you have heard it once, it will click one day. It will click one day. All that exists, and being beyond the attributes associated with nature. Who is this Sri Ram? He is beyond the attributes associated with nature. What is nature? Trigunatmika. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. From that came Hiranyagarbha. From Hiranyagarbha came Virat Purush. In Virat Purush, all the 3 worlds are imagined. And who is this Sri Ram? He is not only all this, but he is beyond the attributes of the nature. Now you can take, I have already explained the nature in all its myriads of form, and he is beyond. Who? Sri Ram. Who? Narayana. See how beautiful it is. And is beyond the attributes of associated with nature, while at the same time they attain the supreme state of his holy feet by worshipping and adoring him day and night. Look at it. While at the same time, all the siddhas are, what he says here, while at the same time they attain the supreme state of his holy feet. Holy feet of whom? Who's beyond attributes, who's beyond nature, who's beyond name and form. They hold on to the feet of that who is beyond name and form and attain they attain the supreme state, meaning they become one with him. Now this is a mystical language. If you are not with me or with the Adhyatma Ramayana in front of you and listening the exposition on it, it will not click. All that I am telling you is each word I am diving into it. What Ramchandra said, piercing it, each word. And they are worshipping him day and night. And therefore these mystics, these siddhas, they can guide us. See? So what is the important here? Bhakti prasiddha bhava mokshanaya sadhana. The most, for moksha, for immortality, for amritatva, bhakti sadhana is the best. Then, and when you do that, what will happen? Rut sanshaya bandhanam vimetum arhasya alokti vistvam. All the doubts, they will be removed completely. Then, parameka madhyam. This Sri Ram is Parama, he is beyond everything. Ekam. Adhyam is the first or the beginningless. Then Nirasta Maya, he is beyond the Maya. Maya again is two ways, she is unmanifest and manifest. He is beyond both. And then last, Guna Sampravaham Parampadam. And in this way, the yogis, the siddhas, they attain to this Parampadam of this Sri Ram. And the qualities were told there. Continuing in the, where is this? 13th verse. Vadanti kechit paramopi Ramaha swavidyaya samvrutam sanjñam janati natmanamata parena sambodhito veda paratmatattvam. He said, Parvati Mata is saying, but because some say that despite the supreme absolute Lord Brahma, Sri Ram did not realize, that is, become aware of the nature of his true self because of being covered, enveloped by Maya. That is why he had to listen to the discourse. You remember the story of now what is the, I'll read it and then I'll explain. If you don't, when I start speaking, then you will know the context. Sheathed by the Maya, that is why he had to listen to the discourse in order to understand, realize the truth about his own real self. This is the statement Parvati ji is making to Lord Shiva. What is that? Vadanti kechit paramopi Ramaha swavidyaya samvrutam atma sanjñam. Sri Ram, some people say that even though you are saying Sri Ram is the ultimate, he is my heart, he is my soul, he is my essence, but some people say that he did not realize himself. He was, why? Because he was born and maybe he came out of fire because that Havan was done, Indra, the payasam was given, okay, divine birth and all is okay, but he did not know his true nature, and that's why he went into depression. When did he go into depression? He went into depression when he finished his studies with Guru Vasishtha. He came back home And he and Ramchandraji was the eldest. All the other three brothers always listened to the elder brother. And Ramchandraji went to his father and he says that I want to travel, I want to go and look at the world, how big our Ayodhya is. Nowadays all the kids are also doing that, isn't it? The moment they finish their studies, first 1 or 2 years they earn the money and immediately run to America or Europe and see everything, have some experience and come back. Her daughter, why she is not here? Because she finished her exam yesterday, today she is partying. Correct? This is how it is. But Ramchandraji wanted to party, but in a different manner. So he asked, father said okay. He sent everything organized. All the brothers went. Lakshmana, Shatrughna and Bharatji, they all went. They were building roads, they were building rest places, they were building, helping poor people with the houses, Annadan, Godan, Vastradan, so many things there. But Ramchandraji, what was he doing? He was especially interested in all the ashrams. So everywhere he went in the country of Dasharath, in his country, he went to various ashrams. He had satsang, whatever he has studied with sage Vashishta. Sage Vashishta just didn't tell them what is the duty of the king. They studied the Vedas, they studied all the scriptures. So he went, he discussed, he contemplated on them, and when they came back, he sat in his room. On the first day itself, he sat in the room and he started. And when because they were living a very sheltered life, like Siddhartha also, no? Same way, sheltered life. Father didn't want him to see any old people. Ramchandraji, it was not that someone has stopped him from it, but they are living in opulence, lot of wealth. Every time the food is there, it's not 1 or 2 dishes, 100 dishes, choose whichever you want. Living in plenty. They had not seen the real world. Then from home, palace they went into ashram. But in ashram you don't see the real world. Whole day you are studying, man. Morning till evening they have to do the seva, you have to do the work, you have to you have to learn the various skills that the teacher is teaching. Plus you have to do the parayan, you have to study the various shastras. And after that, again, they were not exposed to the world. All they did was go for bhiksha and come back. But now, without any encumbrances, they went as free. They are not a child, they are not a student, they have finished their studies, they are almost, in those times, 16 means it was youth. So they went out, and Ramchandraji was totally, his experience of the world brought him to this conclusion that this world is only a source of misery. If this source is a world of misery, but my father is living a king, he's married 3 times, he's got all this son, all of us, what is the purpose of life? If world is a source of misery, then how will people attain moksha? How will people attain happiness in this world? And he locked himself up. He only came out when Vishwamitra came to take the sons Ram and Lakshman away. But when he was called, he didn't come. He says no, he didn't even open the door. So Vishwamitra went, called, knock, knock, knock. Nobody opened the door. He didn't. Then eventually Vashishtaji was sent. Then he got up, got ready, came. And then, if you listen to Swamiji's last 2 lectures, Vision of Yoga Vashishta, 1, 2, today is the 3rd one. You will see, he's putting it in a nutshell. And there, when he comes back, he puts about 10 questions, that this is what my observation of life is. And I had just totally lost the plot. I don't want to live anymore. He was ready to commit suicide, if you want to use those words in modern day parlance. He said, I don't want to live anymore. I don't care for this body. I don't care for relations. I don't care for this kingdom. I don't care for this throne. I don't want to live. He came to that point. If you can answer me, then 36,000 verses of Yoga Vashishta, the teachings, a dialogue of question answers between Sri Ram, who was depressed, who had lost the plot, who did not understand the scheme of life, was each question was answered by sage Vashishta to Sri Ram. What happened after the 36,000 verses? There and then Sri Ramchandra ji became self-realized. This is what Sita ji is saying. Sita ji is saying. Parvati ji is saying. That Ramchandra ji, if he is Parabrahma Paramatma, if he is the cause of the whole creation, he is not affected by Prakriti, how can he be under the effect of Maya? That is what the story is showing, that he was depressed. Why did he need knowledge from his teacher? Why did he need knowledge from the teacher? Was he not self-sufficient to come up with the answers? Why did he cry when Sita ji went away? Why did he have to hide behind the tree and shoot to Bali? If he is Parabrahma Paramatma, why was he afraid to come and stand in front of the King Bali, the monkey king? Why he had to do all this? So there are many trutis, some incidents throughout the Ramayana which can be controversial in that sense, that how Ramchandra ji is God. Because Valmiki ji considers Ramchandra ji as the ideal man. He doesn't take him to be a god. He has not presented him as a Ishvara. Whereas Tulsidas ji, he is taking, the base is Adhyatma Ramayana, and he is presenting Sri Ram as the Ishvara alone, doing the Leela of Ram. He is the Ishvara alone doing the Leela of Ram. Now what do you learn from this? Ishvara, who is the Ishvara? The man or the woman is Ishvara. What is the Leela? The Leela of husband, the Leela of wife, the Leela of children, with the Leela, you being the son or the daughter, the Leela of being an employee, the Leela of being an uncle or aunt. All these roles are your Leela. But we become serious about the roles and we forget the original. Parvati ji is saying, how come this Parabrahma Paramatma forgot himself? This is, and she doesn't say that. She says this is diplomatic language. How can she say, how can he be like that? Who is Ram? Aradhya of Lord Shiva. So she has full respect for Sri Ram. But these are some nigglings from inside which she wants a solution to. And who best to answer than the one who is devoted, who feels himself inseparable, who considers Sri Ram as his own essence. And she is not able to understand that these shortcomings are there in Ram. How come my husband is accepting him as his essence? Problem ho jata na? Many children ask the parents, how come Bhagwan is everywhere if he is stuck in that stone statue in the temple? Almost every child asks. The same Parvati also. From Parvati only that question came. You see? You understand what we are saying? So that he had to listen, to the spiritual teachings, the preachings, the knowledge given by sage Guru Vashishta, and I think Vishwamitra also tells him some other things, in order to understand and realize the truth about his own real self. If he is Parabrahma Paramatma, he is the essence of yours, why does he need knowledge in order to come to know? Why does he need guidance from Guru Vashishta in order to come to know that he is the self? He should be self-established. He should be self-established, and therefore the doubt. Therefore the doubt. So that question and answer session between Ram and sage Vashishta is called as Yoga Vashishta. That is not there in Valmiki Ramayana, it is not there in Tulsi Ramayana. It is this Yoga Vashishta. They say that Yoga Vashishta was composed by, there's no name for composition. No. But whenever, even this Adhyatma Ramayana, there is no author for it. So whenever we don't have any author, usually it is said Vedvyasji wrote it. So there's no, we say it is written by Vedvyas, popularly it is accepted, but that's how it is. Continuing. Fourteenth and 15th verse. यदिस्म जानाति कुतो विलापः सीताकृतेनेन कृतः परेण जानाति नैवं यदिके न सेव्यः समो हि सर्वैरपि जीवजातैः अत्रोत्तरं किं वदितं भवद्भिः तद्ब्रूत मे संशयभेदिवाक्यम्. We'll stop here. So here he says, यदिस्म जानाति कृतो विलापः सीता कृतेनेन कृतः परेण जानाति नैवं यदि केन सेव्यः समो हि सर्वैरपि जीव जातैः. We'll do these two verses and conclude. Hence, so now Parvati ji is coming to the crux of the matter. So all this was Bhumika. I am a devotee, I am surrendered to you, you are the greatest, I am not come to my husband, I have come to my Guru. You are not my Pati Dev, I have not come to my Pati Dev, I have come to the Jagadishwar. All that सब बोल दिया. उसके बाद ये भी बता दिया कि I know he is your essence, you are the, all सब जो भी अभी तक बोला है. Now she comes to the point. यदिस्म जानाति कुतो विलापः Sita Krutenena Krutaparena. Hence I want to know that if he was aware about the elementary truth of existence and the truthful real nature of his essential self, because after Yoga Vashishta he came to know, then why did he lament for Sita so much? Why did he cry for Sita so much? Because when Sita is abducted by, kidnapped by Ravana, and he comes to know, from there onwards, first he cries, unconsolably he is crying. Then he says, oh flowers, have you seen my Sita? Oh bushes, have you seen my Sita? Oh trees, have you seen my Sita? Oh leaves, have you seen my Sita? Oh moon, have you seen my Sita? Oh sun, have you seen my Sita? Oh wind, have you seen where she has gone? He is asking everyone and crying inconsolably. That time you get one Gita, and that Gita is Lakshmana Gita. Lakshman teaches Ram. Sometime we'll take it. And end of Adhyatma Ramayana is Rama Gita to Lakshman. So now Parvati ji is in, this is the doubt. And many people, frankly, if Bhagwan is Bhagwan, how can he cry? This question as a kid also came to our mind. But it didn't become a scripture. It remained a question. See? It remained a question. We got the answer, but here, now I am reading Adhyatma, we'll see how it is unfolded. Now, why did he lament for Sita so much? And if he was not a self-realized and attained soul, then he was like any other ordinary mortal being. If he was not realized, then he was just like you and me, a mortal person. Shiv Parvati are not, they are in one way, because wherever there is form, it is always mortal. Wherever there is name, it is always mortal. So when we say that Brahma, Saraswati, Vishnu, Lakshmi, Vishnu, not Narayana, Vishnu, Lakshmi, Shiva, Parvati, they are immortal, we use the word relative immortality. Relative immortality. Because as a relative, the highest you can go is to them. Then what happens when you get to them? There is no birth and rebirth. Then what happens? Then if you say, please bless me, I want to be a Jivan Mukta, I don't want this birth again. If you pray to Lord Shiva and Parvati or any other without this idea that Shiva is, Lord Shiva is Parabrahma Paramatma. If you pray to Lord Ram as that Sri Ram is what you see, but not Parabrahma Paramatma, that Lord Vishnu is Sahasra Shirsha Purusha, and you are attached to the form and the statue, but you don't consider him to be Nirgun Nirakar, then you attain his loka, but you have to come and do what he wants you to do. Means come back as a Siddha. Because he will use whenever he, whatever, it's not that he uses you, but because you are one with him, he is everywhere. It will happen, whatever has to happen. Let's not get into that right now. You understand? But if our goal is, in Vedanta, what do? We go past the totality. We go past the Trigunatmika Prakriti. The maximum you can attain in Trigunatmika Prakriti consciously, maximum, what is it? Either you can get to Brahma, or you can get to Vishnu, or you get to Shiva. So what do you mean? I can't get to Ishvara. Did you catch the secret there? What is the missing link? You can either get to Brahmaji or Vishnu or Shiva. Can't we get to Ishvara? What did I say? Ishvara is Ishvara with reference to unmanifest Prakriti. If Prakriti is unmanifest, means she is not expressing as Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, then no form can be there. ये अभी क्लिक हो रहा है, मेरे को पहले कभी क्लिक नहीं हुआ. अभी बातें करते करते contemplation हो रहा है. If Brahma, so when she expresses, manifests Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, then it is Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. But when she is unmanifest, we have given him a name Narayana or Shiva, but essentially they are Nirgun Nirakar Tattva. See? So where is your attention? Is your attention on the Nirgun Nirakar Tattva, Parabrahma Tattva, or is it on the reality expressing with attributes? If it is with attributes, the highest in this creation you can get to is Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. And what are Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh meditating on? On the ultimate. They know that they are the formless and the attributeless. See? So, in this manner, where are we? Atrottaram kim viditam bhavadbihi tad brutame samshaya bhedi vakyam. So, why then should he be worshipped, adored and honored? Why should he then be worshipped, adored and honored? Why should he be prayed to? Why should we surrender to him? Why should we pray to him? Why should we do puja of him? Why should we honor him? What is your view, opinion in this matter? Please tell me in a language consisting of simple words. Please tell me in a language consisting of simple words so that my doubts and confusions are dispelled. Tell me straightforward. Don't beat around the bush. I'll tell you from that time it's. He will tell that. Anyway, he will tell. But what Parvati ji is saying, please dispel my doubts. Now, remember, our whole approach, we'll stop here, we'll look into these again tomorrow, next class. Important thing here is when we are studying this, Parvati ji is our mind, Shiv ji is our Atma. Mind is thinking of its source, the mind is thinking of the one because of whom the mind is active. What is its source? So mind is approaching with full surrender and bhakti, devotion towards the higher, even though mind has not seen it, and if he has an idea, okay, Lord Shiva form, okay, theek hai, but this is the way the mind is approaching the Lord and seeking an answer to remove all the doubts and confusions. And how does it want? Not with some shloka. Then what will happen if the shloka is given? Then you have to learn Sanskrit first in order to understand what the shloka is saying. Parvati ji is saying, tell me in a simple language. Don't give me some sutra, अथा योगानुशासनम, और दैट पिछली बार बोला था, पार्वती जी ने पूछा था, तो ही गेव हर व्हाट इज दैट, विज्ञान भैरव, ऑल सूत्रास. अरे बाप रे, each word was like a Pandora box. It had to be opened up. So she had to work harder afterwards to understand. So she's saying, don't do that. Don't do that. Tell me in simple words, so that while you are saying, it clicks. While you are saying, it clicks. I don't want to contemplate on it afterwards. I don't want to ruminate over it afterwards. I don't want to revisit what you are telling me. What is revisiting what has been heard? It is called mananam, reflection. What is reflection for? Removing. What is the Vedanta Paddhati? Shravanam, Manadam, Nididhyasanam. So Parvati is going to listen. She wants to bypass Mananam and Nididhyasanam. Why? Lazy. Don't want to work. Why? अव्यक्त. देखो कैसे कनेक्ट हो रहा है सब कुछ. कुछ नहीं करना है. Where we want to do something, ego has come up. Individuality has come up. She doesn't want to do anything. She wants, who has to do? Shivji has to do. What she wants to do? The knowledge must click there and then when the word falls on her ear and appears as the thought in the mind. There and then, without any judgment, without any working, without any reflection, without any analysis, the word must reveal straight there. Same thing happened to Parikshit. Same thing happened to Arjuna. Same thing will happen to Parvati ji. We'll look at this in our next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. We are just going slow with this because it's what is the chapter called? Ram Hridayam. This is the heart of Adhyatma Ramayana. After this chapter, it's all story. Yes, some learning in between, but this is the crux. Oh, we have to chant? Okay. So we are going to chant. I'll just close this enough. Every class I don't need to record. We will chant Adhyatma Ramayana, the